What's up, guys? Here we go into a video of We Fight How We Train. We're going to be taking a look at Devin Haney. We're going to be looking at some of the good, some of the bad. Obviously, mostly the bad. Even though he did a good job, he won the fight. Most of his control and most of his ability to be on the line with his opponent comes with controlling his opponent with the jab, right? With punching. And we all know that to be very dangerous. But as we saw last night, it also makes for a pretty exciting fight as well. So we're going to kind of line up some of the tricks and the stuff that he works on here. Double jab. Now this is the most of his control here. All right. Notice he's going to be taking a step here. Right. Boom. Boom. So he's going to be constantly looking to be in motion, and I want you to pay attention to the fact that when he's doing this little trick here, right? Boom. These are not hard jabs. Okay. This is very, very, very important. Okay. Now the first thing that we're going to talk about, okay, is how relaxed he is when he's doing these routines. How sharp, how simple these are, right? They're not the best routines, okay? They're not the most excellent patterns and this and that and exercises and his head positioning, right? And this is one thing I want to talk about real quick. His head's always in the same spot, yada, yada, yada. But I want to point out that he is very, 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 very good at all these routines that he's doing. And that's the part that separates kind of it from being such a bad workout or bad, patterns and stuff to being okay, right? Because at least if you're going to be doing something, I don't want to say doing something incorrectly, do it well, but you want to be good at the things that you're doing, right? That way when the holes and the things that you think are going to be there, or the opportunities you think are going to be there, you'll be able to take advantage of them to the best of your theory's ability, okay? So he's very sharp, he's very quick with these techniques. Now, first technique we're going to take a look at is the 1-2 off the line, okay? He uses this tactic a lot in the fight, very, very, very lot. Here's one instance in the end of the fight here. Boom, boom, and then off the line, right? Very, very simple. 1, 2, take a step off. Very, very easy technique. And I want you to pay attention to how simple it is here, right? He's adding some power to it there. And how differently it looks here, right? Very relaxed, very simple. Again, he's very, very, very good at it on his own mitts and his own work. So it doesn't necessarily look like he's doing a lot in his routine here, but he's getting a lot of his muscles in it, a lot of the coordination, a lot of the stuff. The only thing is that he's not changing positions when he throws it, okay? He's only transferring a little bit of his weight to the front foot, but his head doesn't really move. And we're going to talk about that, how that affects some other stuff too. Now, this right here is very, very, very important. Here's his slip here, okay? Now, number one, I want to point out that his glove here is not in a position to block a punch, right? So when he gets on his back foot, heel, knee, head, again, it's not excellent. It's neutral too. He's crouched, so there's a little bit of a bonus there for him. It's not that bad, but he's not in a position with his left hand to block a punch. And this is why he gets hit with so many punches when his head is dipping to that side. And now we're going to take a look at a couple of those examples here, okay? So number one, controlling the line here. And look where his head is, right? And then controlling the line a little bit lower and getting hit. Again, his head is kind of in a very, very similar position. He's able to counter, no big deal. Sure, it's great. And then getting back on the line, controlling him, right? Again, this is very similar to his jab, right? Here he's throwing the 1-2, taking a step off the line, right? Doing it at different paces, different rhythms. And then getting caught on the line again with his control because his head is on the line. Now, he got caught with a jab, and he also got caught with a left cross here. Okay, because his head is in the same position. All right, so Diaz only has to make sure that he can fight in relation to his opponent's head, and his opponent's head is not moving. So Diaz has a great angles to be landing not only this straight left hand here, getting his head to the correct side of the line, but throwing this jab and catching him, intercepting Devin Haney moving into the line with his own shot. Now, take a look at a couple more clips here. Controlling the line again. Oh, this is a really good clip. This is actually something that he does really well. We're going to look at this a little bit later. This is some beautiful, beautiful work. We're going to take a look at that later, though. That's not what I want to bring up. Boom. Again, controlling the line with that lead hand, and his head's always in the same spot, right? He doesn't even really get to notice that Diaz here is getting this lead foot dominance here, right? He's enacting his pendulum slip here to try to get to the outside and try to get that angle. And again, Devin Haney's head is always in the same spot, right? Same spot, control, control. And this was a huge problem that he had because when he brings his weight to the back foot, he doesn't ever have his left hand up in a position to guard the line. Notice, the only control he has on the line with his lead hand is with lead hand control. Now, this is a very dominant form of defense, okay? I don't want to say defense. This is a very dominant form of line control, okay? This is an offensive form of controlling the line, and you have your defensive one, which is obviously blocking punches, but he doesn't really practice blocking punches, and we're going to be talking about why that is and this and that and some of the mechanics and some of his positioning. But this is why he gets hit so much, okay? In spite of the fact that Devin Haney is so quick with his hands, so quick with his feet, he has no head movement. Now, I do want to say that if you guys are interested in learning how to hit the pads, okay, and learn head movement, and learn how to hit the pads in relation to your opponent and your body mechanics, check out my pad work series. It will really teach you how to hit the pads. Not only is it going to teach you that so that you can do this fun stuff, interesting stuff at any level, right? But I'll also teach you my personal favorite boxing drills for teaching pad work and positions and how to build excellent position 1 and position 2 attacks. Okay, the drills, they're very, very simple, easy to follow along, and they all bleed into each other. So you can combine them, you can do this and that, and it winds up being a very cool Mayweather-style pad work. But more importantly, it'll teach you how to hit the mitts no matter who is holding them for you. Okay? Now, it'll also teach you, if you want to be the mitt holder, how to hold the mitts as well. Okay, so it's a really, really cool program. And right now, it's 30% off with promo code 30. So just check that out. And yeah, so I think it's about $100 right now. So check it out. Anyway, we're going to be taking a look at a few other things that he's going to be doing. Again, this motion here, right? So many jabs, right? Constantly looking to interact with his opponent with the lead hand, right? So as he has this pattern and this routine in his thing, when he's not doing nothing, he's controlling the line with his jab, right? Or controlling the line with his lead hand like we see him doing. Now, I do want to say that in spite of the fact that some of those instances don't work out super well for him, this is a very, very important tactic for him and strategy. Actually, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and look at, as soon as he throws a combination, we'll be able to take a look. Okay, again, 1-2, right? 1-2 off the line. Now, this one is much more close to what he was using against Diaz because he's not really stepping with this one, right? Control, 2, and then step off the line, right? Because he was allowing Diaz to come to him most of the fight. Interesting idea, right? That he's going to let the shorter fighter come to him. Anyway, again, he doesn't really move his head, so it's very, very difficult to put a pace on his opponent because when he comes forward, he's always on the line with them. Now, when is he going to start throwing his combinations? Okay, we're going to take a look at this one here. This is a tactic he practiced in the fight as well. Body shot and then head shot. I think it's this clip here. No, that's the last clip. That's the body shot. Oh, that's a good shot too. We're going to take a look at that clip soon. Slip to the body, boom, and then head, okay? And then tries to roll out, but slipping off the line. Now notice, he's not really getting his head off the line. In spite of the fact that he practices slipping to the front foot, he doesn't know where his head is supposed to go, okay? And that's because he doesn't really practice positions. He doesn't really practice moving his head. He only knows it needs to get to the outside of the glove or this or that. So when there's no glove there, he doesn't know where his head's supposed to go. So he throws 2 shots like this. Now, real quick, pay attention to how he's slapping with this hook, all right? It's not going to be a big deal now, but as soon as some fighters start calling him on it and start calling him and stopping him from being able to slap, he may lose the ability to throw his left hook. Now, we're going to take a look at this again, okay? So again, a good technique there, right? And again, something he practiced, transferred directly to the fight. I think this is going to be the combination stuff. Okay, so here we go. 1, 1, 2, 3. Now, number 1, watch how his number 1, his head doesn't move. 1, 2, 2, 3. But look at how he's throwing that hook. When it hits the pad, he's kind of hitting it with his knuckles, right? He's not really turning it over. He's not really getting any snap. He's not really getting his weight to position 2. And again, look at where his head is, right? It's right in the center of his line. It's not a great punch, but this is why when he lands such excellent shots like this, control, look at him, use that body shot to sink his weight, heel, knee, head. He's getting his position there. He's not there, okay? It's actually, his head is actually about right here, okay? It's just a little bit, he didn't make it all the way to the position, but he comes straight up with that hook. And in spite of the fact that he could land such massive punches like this, because he doesn't move his head when he throws his hook, he can only step into it and hope that he can get some pendulum weight into it. Now, his footwork is not good enough to get his pendulum power into the shot, but he's doing a decent job, right, with the hand speed and the setting, the timing, and all that stuff. And real quick, the timing, right? He gets to practice the timing and the rhythm here. So many different speeds, so many different paces. And look at how he doesn't throw all of them with hard, right? Some of them are soft, some of them are hard, some of them are positions. Again, this is one of those things that comes with being a master at those kinds of drills, or the things that you do well. All the things kind of flow off of him. He does them very well. The problem is he does all of these so well, he just doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing to improve. Okay? Because we can all see that there are massive amounts of places for him to improve here. Okay? But he's not taking any of those opportunities on the mitts. Now, real quick, we're going to talk about again. Here's the pull counter, right? It's very important. Boom. Watch him slip to the back foot to get away from the lead left hand, right? Or the straight left hand of his opponent, right? He does not bring his left hand with him, so he's not in a position to block. But notice when he slips the left hand, this is the same position that he would be in when Jojo Diaz would hit him with the left hand, right? Because that head position, you don't really get safe from that shot, because he just winds up moving his head straight back, okay? Now, his opponent, his coach, look at how far away he is. He's not really entering his line, right? He's not really giving him something to move his head away from. He's just trying to get him to see the shot. Now, this is still going to be valuable for him, because if he can see the shot, he can move his head maybe off the line enough that it's not going to crack him, right? You can roll with the shot, so there's still value in there, but there's a lot of space there to improve. Now, we're going to take a look at some other stuff real quick too. There we go. So this is what we want to see. Pull counter, right? And look at how he's pulling away from the jab in the same direction that he pulls away from the left hand, right? And that means that, again, just like in this other clip here, when he's sitting on the line and the jab comes, boop, his head's in the same spot. He got his counter off, right? His pull counter, right? He can see that the shot's coming and he can try to roll with it, boop. But he's still getting tagged, right? Controlling the line, letting his shot go. But then getting tagged again, right? Because his head's always in that same spot. Very, very, very similar spot. Now, we want to talk about these clips here. 1, 2, 3, okay? Beautiful combination, right? 1, control. But again, he doesn't throw them all hard on the mitts, right? 2, 3. They're not necessarily have to be hard punches, but he's able to interact with his opponent on the line multiple times. Okay, the pull counter again. We're going to take a look at some more stuff too. Good pull counters. Not bad, right? But what we're going to be wanting to focus on is the blocking as well. But I want to do some of the combination punches. Show you guys him training those. The 1, 2, 3s. Some uppercuts. He also practiced the lead uppercut against Jojo Diaz quite a bit. I want to say that this is one of the most dangerous punches he threw in the whole fight. He was really getting annihilated by some punches when he would throw them. So you should be very, very careful throwing your uppercut, because the uppercuts are, if you throw the left uppercut, that's the body shot, you throw that from the front foot, right? The right uppercut from the back foot, you throw from the back foot. You want to be very careful crossing the line with your uppercuts, because your shoulder's down. 1, right? 1, 2, 3, right, guys? Now look at his positioning, right? 1, 2, 3. His head did not move at all. Again, he's not really transitioning his weight into these punches, even though it looks like he's rotating into them, even though it looks like he's doing everything correctly. There are just massive, massive opportunities for him to improve, right? But here again, 1, 2, 3. Almost exactly like he practiced and does here. 1, 2, 3. And he's able to get off the line right after. Again, with that very similar motion, stepping off the line after. But this is a really, really excellent sequence. And this is one that I think that he used a lot against Diaz, because he would get control of Diaz from so far with that lead hand. Diaz has so much ground to cover. It gave Haney so much space. Okay, so Diaz is coming in. He's trying to get his pendulum slip off. He's going to get that leg to the ground. And as he gets that leg to the ground, bink, bink, right? Haney's able to control and catch him on the way in with these shots. Even though he's getting hit with a good shot himself, right? Again, when you control the line with punches, right, you're always going to be on the line with your opponent. So it's very, very dangerous to be doing that. You have to learn how to block punches on the back foot, right? Now we're going to take a look at, let's see what other clips we got. I think we saw this one too. Yeah, same one. So here, when he gets his weight to the back foot here, right, he should be blocking with this hand. This hand should be up and rotating his weight away from the line, right? In theory, okay? But he never actually transitions his weight to the back foot while bringing his left hand up. He always stops in a position here in which he can control the line with his lead hand. That means that when he gets his weight to the back foot, back foot, and the lead left hand comes from Jojo Diaz, he should be transitioning his weight back to the front foot to block it so he can roll with that shot. Instead of putting himself on the back foot trying to block it here, getting caught with that shot around the guard. Now, as we're going to take a look at the pads again, there's going to be another position where he's going to be practicing the pull counters or the blocking, I believe. I think he definitely does it here too. Yeah, so here's the pull counters, and there's also going to be front foot. Now here he is moving to the back foot, and notice how that left hand comes at him, right? Bop, bop, right? And now his shoulders his coach's right shoulder is forward, and now his coach's left shoulder is going to come forward as he attacks him. But Haney's weight is going from the front foot here toward the back foot. So his coach is timing him move to the back foot with the hook. Now, this is what you're supposed to do as a fighter. You're supposed to catch your opponent leaving that position with the shot. So what he should be teaching his fighter to do is to slip to the front foot to catch that punch, not try to catch it from the back foot, because as he throws it, now Jojo Diaz threw his body shot here too sometimes, and then he would throw it up here just to the inside of the glove. Boom. That's a better angle there. But as he throws that shot, right, see how his weight, he's not bringing all his weight to the front foot. He's not slipping to the front foot. It leaves a huge hole in front of his opponent. Again, very, very similar motion, right? And this is why he's open. Now, every time your opponent brings their rear shoulder to the line, it means they're looking to change positions and throw a punch at you, okay? This means that it's dangerous for you to stay in the same position that you were in, okay? But we can see here that when that shot comes, Devin Haney is waiting for it, right? His coach goes forward, back, right? And now he brings his shoulder forward, and Devin Haney is waiting for him. He's not looking to change positions at all, right? He may be looking to catch, but in spite of the fact that he's going to be able to roll with these shots because he's going to see his opponent's weight, he's not always going to react the right way. As you can see, his coach can throw this body shot here, right? Or he can throw an overhand. And because Devin Haney's not, choosing which one to block, he's hoping to kind of err on the side of, I think I'll get it. He winds up having a lot of situations in the ring like this, where his weight goes back, and then he gets pinned to the back foot. And see, he's trying to reach for that shot, but he's trying to block this one. But his head is going forward, okay? Because his head is supposed to go forward. His head's supposed to go toward the front foot to catch it. Now, if instead of going from here and trying to reach the line with the left hand, instead of bringing this shoulder forward and keeping his weight on the back foot, if he just peeled this shoulder this way and brought this hand up, he could peel himself off of the line away from this shot as well. Yeah, anyway, just a couple of, little small technique things. And again, he doesn't really turn his punches over. He doesn't really move his head, so he can't really get his weight into his shots. And that's the reason why someone who's so big, okay, fighting someone who's so small, wouldn't be able to hurt him, wouldn't be able to knock him out. Because he doesn't really get his power into his shots. He practices all his stuff with his head on the line and his head in the same position. Even though very, very impressive, right? 1, 2, 3, right? We saw him throw that combination a number of times, but his head is always in the same position, again, which means he never really transitions his weight anywhere. Let's go ahead and go to the parts that we haven't seen yet. Some more impressive stuff here. He does use this strategy too a few times in the fight where he throws the jab and tries to roll under the shot. Right there. He does do that. It doesn't work out very well for him. He does wind up getting stuck on the line, I think, most of the time. I think he might even do one. Where does he do that other one? It's not here, right? 1, 2, step off. No. Nope, not that clip. No, not that clip. Anyway. Watch a little bit more of the training. 1, 2, 3s, right? 1, 2, 3s. Very good at them. Slip-ish to the front foot. Now, again, there are a lot of errors in here, right? For a guy that's been fighting for as long as he has, right? We can see that he's doing these, and these drills are super easy for him, right? 1, 2, 3, right? Real easy. He's sharp. He's quick. Bop, 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 bop. Real sharp positions. Which means that because he's so good at these drills here, he's ready to make them more difficult. They're too easy for him. This is easy stuff, right? And the thing is, if you guys trained for 6 months, 8 months, you should be able to do mitts like this too. It's not that difficult, okay? You do want to have people who can teach you and hold the mitts for you. Getting this sharp or getting this quick at the mitts, right? Again, he's very good at the routine that he does. Very good, right? Look at him stepping with his jab. Lots of stepping with his jabs. Very similar, real quick, to the falling step, right? Boop, drop that front foot, step. Very similar. He's using very similar techniques. But again, not a lot of head movement, right? Where's those scenes? That's what I was going to show you guys. Him blocking punches on the front foot, right? So look at him get his glove up here. That's perfect. I picked the perfect spot. When you block with the left hand, your weight wants to be on the back foot. And when you block with the right hand, your weight wants to be on the front foot. Or rather, you block with the left hand, your weight goes to the right leg. You block with your right hand, your weight goes to your left leg. And when he gets here to this position to block, he's not actually transferring his weight to the back foot, right? Which means that his opponent is never going to be in a position to block one of his opponent's punches here because he's not isolated on himself on one side of the line or the other, okay? Because of the fact that he's right in the middle of the line, if his opponent winds up being in a position that this is intercepted, right? So say he throws the jab and this intercepts the jab here, that means that the straight left hand is not going to be intercepted by this because his head is on the line. Again, which is why when the 1-2s come, or the controls, and then the 2 comes off of the control, again, think about if he was just controlling this lead hand, and then his opponent, Diaz, just threw a straight left hand at him. Again, the shoulder position and the control of the line is very similar, okay? Very similar. Very similar to him if he had just had his block up here as well, okay? So think about that idea. If he had just had his block up, how similar the level of control is that he has over the line and his inability to, block these kinds of punches. Anyway, lots of things for Devin Haney to improve on and to work on, especially as an orthodox in the southpaw Mitt matchup. There were a lot of really big glaring holes in there that if Devin Haney was fighting someone who was as equally tall and strong as he was, he very likely would not have made it out of the fight. And I know that picking against people who don't move their head is like my favorite thing to do, right? Anthony Joshua doesn't move his head. Easy pick against Usyk. There's going to be an eventuality where there's not going to be any more small people for Devin Haney to beat. There's not going to be any more people where he has those types of physical advantages against them. And he's going to have to fight somebody. Let's say, how tall is Devin Haney, you guys? How do you guys think he compares to someone like Keith Thurman? Do we think that he could compete with Keith Thurman? I know that they're in different weight classes, right? But Keith Thurman, I don't think is 5'8". In fact, I'm going to Google that right now. I think Keith Thurman might be only 5'6". Not Keith Urban. Okay, Keith Thurman, 5'7". Okay, 5'7". Decent head movement. Normally, it's okay. It's all right. But more importantly, he moves his head when he punches. Oh, Devin Haney's 5'9". Okay. Anyway, eventually he's not going to be able to be the Oscar De La Hoya of his division. And once he starts fighting people who are as big as he is, if he's not able to not only transition his weight from position to position, but if he's not able to transition his weight from position to position as well as through his opponent's line with punches and power punches, he's going to find himself falling increasingly far behind. And one of the fighters that I think that he would particularly have a very difficult time with, even in his own division-ish, is Teofimo Lopez. I think Teofimo Lopez, even though he lost to Kambosos, and I'm not going to give him any credit for his COVID injury, because he still could have fought better and walked Kambosos into a shot and got the knockout, I believe. But Teofimo Lopez is just way too explosive for Devin Haney, in my opinion. I think that he will dominate him, and I don't think that Haney will be able to get on the line with Teofimo Lopez or somebody like that. Let's say. Anyway, I think that. Let's see, who are the other guys he's going to fight in this division? Well, they're going to try to set up the Kambosos fight, right? Which is going to be a weird fight. I don't know. I think that Devin Haney, well, he definitely needs to start transitioning his weight. He definitely needs to do some of that stuff and learn his positions and stuff. But I think that as soon as he stops fighting people that are 5'6", he's going to be in a lot of trouble, because there are a lot of punches that Diaz landed with 7-inch reach disadvantage that if he had a couple more inches, probably would have put Devin Haney out. And Jojo Diaz, pretty decent puncher. He's not a great puncher, but he's a decent puncher. The punches are only going to get better as he moves up. Even the average punches are going to be, better punchers than Diaz at the higher weights. No offense, Diaz, you're a good fighter, very, very solid. You should have in fact, I almost bet on Diaz in this fight. I thought that he had a really decent shot at winning, but I saw the Blair Cobbs sparring, and I saw that guy was landing punches against Diaz, or that guy was landing punches against Haney, and he couldn't hurt Haney or stop Haney either. And that kind of made me think that Haney was going to be able to take the punches from Diaz as well. And now, I did still think that Diaz was going to be able to hurt Haney, but I did not think he was going to be able to put 2 to 3 hard punches in a row against Haney. Haney's in really good shape, and in order to knock out an elite fighter, you have to hit them with more than one punch. You have to. One punch is just not enough. As we saw Jorge Linares, not a great puncher, but one punch was not enough for him, and he had great timing. Yeah. But anyway, it was a good fight. To be honest, it was a really great fight. Haney, he did a little bit of holding, but he's getting better at not holding. He's also, I don't want to say he's getting better at fighting shorter opponents, but, when you fight people who have so many disadvantages against you, you really need to be able to make them pay. You really need to be able to. And, I think that I don't want to say the hype train of Devin Haney, but I want to say that the opportunities that Devin Haney is going to have with his current skill level are diminishing quickly.